Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. And in this project, this is what we're going to be building right here. And let me just show you a bit of it. You can see we have everything filtered by week, right? Now we can see this is one menu, and we can see this falls under Asian. And this is the total order, this is the total sale. So we're going to go to March and February rather, and we'll see every single thing by February. We'll go to March, and we'll see every single thing by March. This is very easy and tells the story it is supposed to be told. So this is a sales analysis dashboard for a company called Tasty Bite Restaurants. We're still going to go into the business part of things, but I just wanted us to look at what we're going to be building, how beautiful and easy and soft and calm does this even look. Okay, next thing I want to show you now is this is what our measures table is going to look like. So we're going to be writing some DAX measures. It's not a lot, but it is really key. It's important. All right. After that, we're going to create a date table, which I'm going to show you how to. There are two ways of creating a date table, which is using the DAX measure and going through the Power Query route. I have a video on how to create a detailed date table that is going through the Power Query route, which I'll put in the description box below. And also, it will be showing up right now on our right-hand side. And I'm also going to show you how I created this one. This I used the DAX measure to do. So I'm just going to, put it in the measures part where we write the DAX measure. I'm just going to put it there, and you can take a pause and copy it. Alternatively, I can also put it in Google Drive and put the link in the description box, so you can just copy that. So I'm going to be doing these two methods. Whichever way you prefer, you can go about it. So this is also what our data set looks like. We have the menu items and we have the order items. So this is just basically every single thing about this project. This project is a quick, interesting one. It's actually really interesting because we're going to be deducting a lot of insights for this company from just what we're looking at. And also there's something interesting coming up at the end. So you should definitely stick around till the end of this video. All right, so let us go review the business. So this is basically what the business is about. This is not just anyhow project, right? You have to have it in mind that you're actually working with a company as the data analyst, and you're actually solving real life business problems. So you have to take this really seriously, okay? So this is the business problem. Our company's name is Tasty Bite Restaurants, and Tasty Bite Restaurant aims to optimize its menu offerings and operational efficiency to increase revenue and customer satisfaction. So all of these things, the bottom line is to even increase revenue, to optimize menus offering, and to increase customer satisfaction. And to achieve this, the restaurant needs to analyze its sales data to identify trends and patterns that can inform strategic business decisions. Key questions we're going to be answering are these four that we can see here in the bullets. So what we're going to be analyzing first is most ordered and sold category. Now, category in this sense is because if we take a look at our data set, which we are going to do later on, immediately after this, you will see that category is more like the kind of food they have, or the category of food they have. For example, in their menu, you have American, you have Italian, you have Asian, you have Mexican. So those are the categories. So you want to know what people even enjoy the most. Do they enjoy eating Italian more than they enjoy eating Mexican foods and all of that? So these customer preferences will help in knowing what to offer your clients, to help boost more sales. Okay, so now most ordered and sold item. Now, item in this area is the food itself. Do they sell spaghetti balls more? Do they sell French fries more? Do they sell meatballs more? So all of these things, do people order these things more? So these insights will allow the restaurants to prioritize menu items that are popular among the customers and optimize pricing and promotion for those items. When we are doing most ordered and sold item, you're also going to see the list one from the chart, right? When you see the list one, then you can then decide what to do on the ones that are not really moving forward. or not really making sales, do you want to drop them from your menu list? Do you want to run some kind of promo on it? Do you want to, share a survey or why people don't like that? Maybe it's the fact that the chef isn't even making the food so well. So you might want to run a survey and share some questionnaires to your customers and ask them, oh, why don't you like this meal? And they might tell you, oh, it doesn't taste as good as I've had elsewhere. And if you have that kind of answer, it is time to do what? To change your chef. Also, you can just run a discount also on that list sold item and take it up from there. So we see orders by sales and by week and month. Orders and sales by week and month. So we are going to analyze the trend in orders and sales over time, both weekly and on monthly basis. And this would help to identify seasonal variations, peak periods, and overall growth trends that would allow the restaurant to readjust staffing level, inventory management, and marketing efforts accordingly. So we're also looking at the sales peak time. We want to determine the time of the day when sales peak occur. Understanding the peak sale hour enables the restaurant to allocate resources effectively, and resources such as scheduling staff members during busy schedules or busy periods. You can see that these questions we're going to answer will help the restaurant to get the business solutions or to get the answers to these questions that we're seeking. Okay, so once we get the answers to this question, it is going to help the business to make informed and strategic decisions backed by data. Now let us go into Power BI. We're going to import our data set and we're going to study it, have a look at it, and start the analysis. So welcome back, guys, to Power BI. Now I have opened up a new report. So now the first thing we want to do is to go get our data set. So I got this data set from Kaggle. I'm going to put the link in the description box below so you can follow through with this project. All right, so I'm just going to go get my data. In case you're new to the Power BI environment, you can get your data from here. Look at get data and look at all the data sources you can connect to. And there is even more. Like it is like a lot you can connect to. Okay, if you take a look, as you can see, like the list is almost endless. So we're just going to cancel this. You can get your Excel data set from here. You can import through SQL if you have an SQL connection right here and also here. You can get through One Lake, Data Lake, Data Mart, Lake Houses, Warehouses, and all of that from here. You can get from your Excel workbook from here. If you come here, you can see get data. So you can just do a lot of things right here. Okay, so I'm just going to come here. My data set, or the data set we're going to be using is in CSV format. So we're just going to come here and get a CSV. And I'm just going to go to where my data set is. And this is my menu item and other items. So I'm going to get these two things in here. So let me just show you for the first one. So this is what our menu item table looks like. So you have the option to preview it. And this is basically what it is. Here we have our menu ID, item ID, the category, as I explained, can you see, and the price. So I'm just going to load this in. Now we can see menu items. So I'm just going to do the same thing for the other item. Okay. This is what our order table looks like. So I'm just going to load that in. And yes, we have our menu items and other items tables right in our data set. So this is it. The next thing we're going to do now is just to create a measures table. This is where we're going to be putting in all our measures so that everything looks clean. Okay, so for that, just come here, enter data. I'm just going to write measures right here. So I'll just load this in. Now we have our measures table. Oh, we've not written any measures, so there is nothing in there now. The next thing we want to do is to get our date table. Okay, so before getting the date table, let us go look at menu item. So as you can see, this is what our menu item is. We have the menu ID, we have the item name, the category, and the price. And take a look at order item. We have the order date, the time, the item ID, the order ID, and the order details. So this item ID and the item ID and the menu item ID those are the keys we are going to be using to join our table together when we want to model it. Okay, so let us go and create our date table right now. So to create our date table, I'm just going to come here and you can see new table. All right, so we're just going to click on this new table and we're just going to paste our measure here. So this is what our date table looks like, which is our DAX measure. And what we're doing is we're adding columns, and the columns are the calendar date, which our table starts from. If you actually take a look at our order details, our order date, the date we have in our data set starts from January 2023 up until March 2023. Okay, so this is why our date is ranging from this to this in this DAX measure, because in our data set we have it from January to March. So this is what it is right here. So we're trying to get the month number. We're using the month function, and we're putting the date in here. We're getting the year, we're getting the month name, and we're just using the switch and putting in month number here. Okay, so this is just going to be if it's January, if it's 1, that is if the month number is 1, I want it to be January. If the month number is 2, I want it to be February. If the month number is 3, I want it to be March. It's just as simple as that. So we're going to use the week number, and we're going to put in our date, and we're going to use the week name. So the week name is basically just to put WK, because if we're using 1, 2, 3, 4, to depict the week, stakeholders might not necessarily understand it when they just say 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you put WK and they see it as WK1, WK2, WK3, they would understand that this means week 1, week 2, week 3. So that is basically what our week name is doing. So we're just concatenating, which is to just like add two things together. And this is basically it. So just hit enter. And as you can see, we have our date table. So when we come here, we can see every single thing we have. Now, it's not just about creating the date table alone. When you're done creating this date table, you still have some work to do. All right. The next thing you want to do is to come here to table view. Then you need to sort these columns. Okay. So when you want to sort it, just click on, for example, let us sort our month name. So I'm just going to click on the month name, go to sort by column. Go to sort by column, and I'm going to sort the month name by the month number. Then I'm going to sort the week name by the week number. The next thing you want to do is to go to table tools, come mark it as a table, choose the dates. Can you see validated successfully, and come here and save it. So you can see that this particular place is coming out as date and time, and we really do not want this time here. So we're just going to, if you come to the column tools, because we're at the table tools initially, which is, this is what it looks like. So once you come to the column tools, we can see that the data type is in date time format. So we're just going to change this to just date format, and this will help us get rid of the time. Okay, so now we can say we have just date. Now, as you can see, everything is sorted. We sorted the month name by month number and all of that. And we have successfully marked it as a table. Look at it right here. And we have marked it and saved it as a table. So the next thing we want to do now is to go model this, because if we don't model it, there is no point of creating the date table in the first place. So we go to our model view, and this is what our model view looks like. We have the menu item, we have the order table, order details table, the measures table, and lastly, the date table that we have created. So we're just going to bring this here, and let's just put this here. And now the first thing you want to do is you want to create a relationship between the menu ID and the item ID. I showed you this thing when we were studying the data. You can see that item ID and the menu item ID are both the same. Okay, so these are the keys on which you are going to create a relationship. So all you do is to click here, press it downwards, and just move it towards item ID for it to create the, as you can see, for you to create the relationship. And you can see this is one to many. The next thing we want to do is to create the relationship between the date table and the order date. So I'm just going to come here, hold it still, and bring it to order date, and it's going to also create a relationship. As you can see, this is one to many. So in a nutshell, our order table can even serve as the star schema in this point, or fact table, right? So now we have done basically what we need to do for us to start our analysis. Modeling is a very key and important aspect in analysis, because it just helps us structure our data the way we want to see it, or the way we need to use it. Okay, we're not doing anything with measures table. This is just something we're just going to be writing our measures in. So let us go and start now, since we have done all our groundwork. So I'm coming back to the report view. So we're going to be making use of some third-party visuals. And let me just show you what the previous chart is. As you can see, this is what we have. Literally, the only thing in Power BI that we used was for these KPIs. The only visual we used for Power BI that was in Power BI were for these KPIs. Okay, which we use the new card view for, and our slicers, which we use the new slicers for. Every single thing was one of these new third-party visuals that we use. So we're just going to go and import it, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm coming back to now what you do is to come here and go to get more visuals. Now it just opens up. So I'm just going to show us how to get the 4 visuals that we need, because we're going to be needing 4 different visuals for this. And the first one we're going to get is, we're going to come to search here and just type lollipop bar chart. As you can see, lollipop bar chart right here. So this is the probe, but we're just going to be using this. Okay, so I'm just going to click on this lollipop bar chart right here, and this is it. So I'm just going to add it, and it's going to show here really soon. Okay, as you can see, the import was successful. So we have this bar chart right here. Okay, so click enter and come back here to get another visual. Now the second one we're going to be getting is called lipstick bar chart. So just type lipstick, and before you're even done typing it, you just see it. Okay, so for your lipstick bar chart, we're just going to get this. This is the bar chart. This is the stacked bar chart, stacked column chart, stacked bar chart, but we don't need the stacked, so we're just going to do this, and I'm just going to add this. So you can see it's successful. We're going to click OK. The third one we're going to get is something we call dumbbell column chart. Dumbbell column chart. So let's go back to our search and just write dumbbell. And as you can see, this is what it does look like. And we're going to get dumbbell column chart. If you notice, there is bar and there is column. So be careful. I'm going to go with the column chart. And I'm just going to add this. And the last one we're going to be using is the tornado. So let us import our last visual. And we're just going to type tornado, go to search, and tornado. Okay, so tornado chart, this is it. And we're just going to, add that in. This is basically only the free one in the 4 things we got. This is only the free charts. So I'm just going to add this. And that is it for the 4 charts we're going to be using to create that beautiful visual. Okay, so now that we are done importing what we need to import, okay, the last one is here. we're done with basically the planning, right? For every single thing we need to import. Let us start building our visuals. Okay, so we're just going to come here to format. We're going to go to page settings first, and we don't want this because this is kind of small for what we have. So we're just going to create a custom and go to custom right here, and we're going to have 2000 pixels for the height and 3000 for the width. So now we have something a lot bigger to work with. So the next thing we want to do is to go to Canva background. We don't want white. We actually want something that has a tint of blue in it. So we're just going to go to the color, come to more color, and I'm going to put my hex code, which is D9E0EC. So this is exactly what we want. So I'm just going to enter. And I'm going to reduce the transparency to like 80 and see. Okay, I think this is okay. So the next thing I want to do now is to write some measures and to start bringing in, the card. Okay, so for that, I'm just going to come to my measures to make sure every single measure you're writing is falling right into the measures table. Okay, and not just anywhere random right here. You have to click on the measures table and then come to new measure. Okay, so the first measure we want to write is just like the basic, easiest thing you can ever write, which is like, we want to see the total orders first. So I always say your visualization is telling a story, so make it make sense, make the story interesting. Okay, don't come from here to there, just make the story really interesting and to be orderly. So the first thing you want to do is you want to know how many orders we had during the span of these 3 months which we're dealing with. And total orders, we just want to count the rows because every single row represents a record. Okay, so we're going to use the count rows. And what is the name of our table? We are counting the rows of our order details. So this is it right here. I'm going to close the bracket and just hit enter. So as you can see right here, we have our measures. So I'm just going to delete this column 1 because it's really empty. There is nothing there. Okay, so now the next measure we want to write is that of the total sales. Now that we have our total orders, let us see what we are raking in terms of sale. Okay, I'll just make it 90. All right, so this is fine. Now for this total sales, if you remember in this, let me show you people this. You can see that we have price here, but we don't have the quantity or anything in this same menu items. So this is quite dicey because we have just the price. We don't have the quantity or we don't have anything inside this same table, right? So how are we going to get the sales? What are we multiplying? Because the next order field that we can use and multiply is not even in this particular table, is in this order details table. And this is the only thing we can use to multiply because every single row is a record. So every single row tells us the quantity that was bought. So for 113, for example, if we go to menu, we can say 113 is this item, right? It's an Asian meal and it's sold for $5. So what we're supposed to do now is times $5 by, let's go back to order, by the number of times that particular meal was sold. So look at all the times it was sold. And you see, it is quite a lot. So that is what we are supposed to do, right? Okay, now normally we're going to see quantity sold right beside our price, but since we don't have that and the two things we have are both in different tables, what we are going to do writing this DAX measure is going to be a little bit different. So this is not just the normal total sales sum this. No, it's not going to work like that. Okay, so first of all, we're going to be using the sum X because we want to sum it and we want it to iterate all through the rows that we have in that table. Okay, so let's use the sumX function. So we're summing, what are we summing now? The order details table. The table is order details because that is where we have all of those orders, right? So we're just going to use equals to. Now we're going to use a function called related. So let's just write it, and you can see related here. And this function is called related because if you remember, in our model view, we have already, created this relationship. So Power BI now knows that this table is related to this table. The order table is related to the menu items table. So if we did not create that relationship in the model view at that time, we won't be having this related. We'll probably be using a longer route to do related table, this one, that one, and we'll do a VLOOKUP or something. But the fact that we've been able to create the relationship between these two tables, which are the order details table and the menu items table, just makes this a lot easier. So now we're getting the SUMX from the order details table and the menu items table. For the menu items, we're going with the price, menu items price. So we're just going to cover this bracket and another bracket for this particular one. So this is basically summing the order details and the price. So let's hit enter. Now we have our total sales. Let me just bring this card here so we can visualize it. But this is not the card we're using. We'll be using the new one. So you can see our price right here, okay? Also, let me show you guys this. Look at our total orders. We have 12,000 total orders. So I'm formatting it using the comma. So this is basically like 12,000 something. Let me show you guys here. So if you can see, this is what we have, 12,097. But right here, we are having 12,200. Now, this is a problem, and this problem is from our data set. So before even starting to do this, we need to have done some cleansing and transformation in our data set. Now, let us go to our query, our Power Query. So I will show you some things. So to go to our Power Query, let's go to Transform Data. This open up the Power Query editor, and then we're going to see what I want to show you. So when you come to order details, for example, you might just want to do a bit of cleaning, like, okay, I want to, remove duplicates in this table. If there are duplicates in this table, I want to remove every single one of them. So you can start by doing remove duplicates. If there are any duplicates, it's going to remove that. The next thing you would want to do is you can just go to, now, if you come here, you can see this is null, which means this is blank. So how do you want to, do this? The one thing we can do is just to uncheck it. So once we uncheck it like this, because we don't want any null value in our data set, it's going to scatter our analysis. Do you understand? It's going to scatter our analysis, and we don't really have like an estimate to put. Normally, if you wanted to do some things, you can use the imputation method to say, oh, I want to put the average, I want to put the mean, I want to put this. But this particular one just shows that no item was actually sold. Do you understand? No single item was sold, because if an item was sold, the ID would be there. So there is no point keeping this one here. So we're just going to uncheck this and say okay, and it's going to reduce. Now we're going to come to home, do close and apply. And as you can see, we have 12,007 rows for this data set. But we're seeing it as this because it is being approximated. So I'm just going to remove this. We're just going to come here, write the third measure for our KPI, which is total menu. That is the number of menus we actually have in the restaurants. So I'm just going to name it total menu. So we're counting the rows for the menu items table. This is menu items table. So I'm just going to do this. Now we have our total menu. Let's start visualizing. We still have one more measure or two more measure for our KPIs, but let us visualize these ones that we have written first of all. Okay. So before bringing in the visuals, I'm just going to come here, bring in this shape. So this is going to help me make this color a bit dimmer. So I'm going to put this right here. I'm not going to go with the style. Okay, so this is just something I want. All right, so now this makes what I want better. So I'm get the new card visual and I'm bring this down here. So I'll just extend this. And the new card visual is going to have what? Our total orders first. So I'm going to put this here. So this is what we have as per our total orders. So let us just go, make this thing look a little bit okay. So for that, we're just going to go to format your visual, which is where all the magic happens. So come here, come to your layout. Let's see what layout is talking about. Okay, this looks okay. Come to your call out value, which is basically these two things, which is the total order, and this is what your call out value is about. Go to the total order. So we're going to put this at 60. We're going to put this in the middle. We're going to, now this is where this is important. You need to want to display. We don't just want it at 12.0. We want to see the whole thing itself. So we're just going to come here and put none. Okay, as you can see, this is it. So we're going to go to decimal place and we're going to, put 0. So it removes that 0.0 right there. Okay. The next thing we want to do is to go to label. Now we're going to increase our label up. We're at 30 so we can see better. Right now we are talking, and then I think this is about it for now. So now that we have the total orders, let's go down to the card. This is basically, the card is just all about the body right here. So now we're in the card, so we want the rectangle to be rounded rectangle, right? We don't want, so this is what the rounded rectangle looks like. Can you see? So let's just make this a bit like 15. Okay, 15 is fine. So the next thing we want to do is we want to give it a border. Want to turn off the border. We want to give it a shadow. So this is what the shadow looks like. Let us go look at how. Let's customize our shadow. Come here. Put the size at 4. Put the angle at 90 degrees. So it's more like centralized. And let's just reduce the transparency a bit. And come to our accent bar, turn it on, and give it a nice color. So let's give it this blue. Okay, so let's increase the width to like 5. And yes, I don't know, should we make it 10? Okay, this is not bad at all. Let's take a look. Okay, this is cool. All right, so now we have total orders, but we're not done. We need to come back to general, come to effect, and make that white transparent. Now you can see you're not seeing anything around it anymore. So this is basically what it looks like now. So the next thing we want to do now is to get our previous week and our previous month. These are the things that will be referencing this total order. So we want to see, once we click any month, we're going to see what the previous month or the previous week value is. Okay, so for that, we're just going to write a DAX measure, and we're going to be writing this DAX measure for total orders and total sales. So I'm just going to click here. I'm going to click Ctrl C and Ctrl V, which is copy and paste. I'll bring this right here. And I'm just going to bring in the total sales here and remove total orders. Okay, so this is basically it. Now, I just did this control and paste so that I don't have to start reformatting this visual again. Okay, so let's go back to work with our total orders. So here we're going to bring our previous month, our previous week, and all of that, beautiful things. So for that, let us write our measures. So for our measure for previous month and previous week, we're going to write it together. Okay, so we're just going to start with order PM. PM is previous month, and PW, which stands as previous week. Okay, so now we're just going to we're going to use the calculate function, and this is calculate. So we're just going to use the comma. Now we're going to use this function known as date add. So this is just basically to give us the previous dates. That's what we're using here. So let's just use this date add. Look at it right here, the third one. And we're going to put the number of dates. We're going to just use our dates, which we have in our date table right here, this one. So let's just put dates. This is it. We're going to put our comma, the intervals, which is -1. This just says that we want it a previous month later. And what do we want? We want the month. Okay, so we're going to cover this. All right. And let me just copy this and also paste it for the week. So Ctrl C, let us just shift and enter. We're going to do this. And this is going to be total orders. And now we're going to put -7 right here. And this is for the day. Because if you look, we don't have the week. Okay, stay with me. I'm going to explain what this is. So now we have used the calculate function right here. So remember, this is previous month and previous week. So I need to tell the computer, I need to tell Power BI that if I click week, because I'm going to do a visualization where it's going to be just week, and I'm going to do a visualization where it's going to be just month, right? And now I want to tell Power BI that if I click week, I want the previous week to show. If I click month, I want the previous month to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an if function, okay? So let's just use if, and we're going to put a bracket right here. So shift and enter. And I'm just going to say it's filtered because remember I said if I click week, I want week to show, and if I click month, I want month to show. So I'm just going to use is filtered. And you can see that this is filtered. It returns true when there are direct filters on the specified column. Okay. So now if it's filtered, I want the date table. And I'm just going to use this. And I'm going to say is filtered. And I'm going to use this for the month. So now I'm saying if this is for the month, so this is the month name. So let's close the bracket. So basically what I'm saying is check if the month is selected. That is what this particular query is saying. So I'm going to use bracket. Let me just write this down. Okay, I need to close this bracket. All right. So now we can say if this month is filtered, or if a month is filtered, a month is clicked, a particular column that has to do with month is clicked, I want you to calculate the total orders and minus it by 1 to give me the previous month. So this is what this is saying. And now we're going to come back and do the same thing for the week. So we're going to come back here now and use the same if to get that for our week. So we're going to say if and open up our brackets again. And now the logical test is to also just come here and copy this. It's filtered for the date table. And if we're getting the week, or rather the day, now you can see why you need the day column. So I'm just going to paste this here. So we are filtering the date table, and if it's filtered is the week name. So week name right here. We want you to calculate the total orders of that week. Okay, so this is basically what it is. So we're going to check if any week is selected. This is basically what this is. Let me just write it. So if we check if any week is selected, and yes, if that week happens to be selected, we are going to calculate for the previous week. So this is basically what our other previous month and previous week is saying. So this particular line is checking if the month is filtered. That means if we are going to click on any month. If any month is being clicked, it is then going to calculate for the previous month, which is why we kept this -1 right here. As you can see, calculate for the previous month. Then this second part is also saying if it is the week that is being selected, all right, which is why you can see it's filtered for the week name. And if the week is filtered, calculate for the previous week. Although you can see day here, and we're seeing day because we don't have the option for week. We have just the month, the quarter, the year, and the day, okay? So that is why we decided to go with -7 because obviously it's 7 days that make a week, right? And if nothing is being clicked, return a 0. So this is basically what this is about here. So I'm taking time out now to explain every single line because we're just going to copy and paste it and make some adjustments when we're doing the sales previous month and previous week. The only adjustment we're going to be making is just changing the total orders to total sales. All right, so for this, we're just going to click enter. And now we have our orders previous month and previous week. Right, the next thing we're going to do now is let us just copy this so that we can have our sales previous week and previous month. So I've copied that, Ctrl C. I'm coming back to my measures table right now, and I'm going to my new measure. So I'm just going to paste this in, and what I'm just going to do here is put the sales, and I'm going to put the sales here. Every other logic stays the same, and I have to rename it here. So I'm just going to name this sales previous week and previous month. So I'm going to put that in. Okay, right now we have our sales and we have our orders. Great. The next thing we want to do is to get our month-on-month and week-on-week percentage. Okay, now we have our previous week and previous month. Let us get the percentage. So I'm just going to come here, click on new measure. And for that, I'm just going to write order month-on-month and the week-on-week percentage. So what we're going to do is we're going to create certain variables, which is just, let's start. We're going to create the first variable and we're going to name it previous month. Previous month sale. What we're going to do is what we did the previous time by using the date add, so I'm just going to do that. I just decided to paste it so we don't take forever on this video. So I'm creating a variable called previous month sale, just like we did in order to get the previous month, which is to get our total orders, and -1, which is the previous month. The same thing as here, the previous week sale. We're doing this for the week as well, -7 day, which is what we did for the previous week and previous month. Now we want to get the order month on month. So this is basically, we're going to get the total order, which is like 12,000 something, and we're going to get the previous month. So if the previous month was 3,000, so now what this particular part is saying is 12,000 minus 3,000 is going to give us 9,000, right? So 9,000 divided by the previous month sale is what this is giving us, okay? And the same thing with the week on week. And now what we're going to return is, you can remember the same way we did if is filtered. So now we're going to say if the month is filtered or if the month is selected, we're going to get the order month on month, which is what we created here. If the week is selected, as you can see, week name, which is what we did, we're going to get the order week on week, which is what we created here. Else, we're going to return 0. So this is basically what this particular one is talking about. So now we're going to copy and paste it and just put total sales for all this particular area because it is the same logic, okay? We have our order month on month. So we're just going to copy this, Ctrl C, and get for the sales as well. And you're going to see why this is important really shortly. So just going to put the sales month to month, previous week. We're going to put sale here. because we need to change the total orders to total sales. All right, so let's hit enter now. And now we have our sales month on month and order month on month. Great. So now the next thing we need to check out now is the order icon. So let me show you why the order icon is important. When we come here, look at, we want to see what, this is January, we want to see what happened in February. And now when we come here, we can see that, oh, look at the previous month. The previous month has 4,000, and this is the percentage at which it reduced. And you can see the arrow showing that it reduced. It is going downwards, okay? And this is the same thing for the total sales. When we come to March, you can see, oh, there was an increase and it's green now. And the arrow is showing forward, okay? So if we want to see it by week, you can see this. Oh, this is happening, okay? So this is basically what we're trying to achieve. Now, let us go back to ours. And now we want to get the order icon. So we're just going to go to measures and come here. So for this, we're just going to write order icon and we're going to create some variable. We're going to create var here. And this one, we're just going to name it upward arrow. And this upward arrow, we're just going to give it a unicar, the unicar number, which is like, this is standard. You can go online and even look it up. It is always standard. You can see it's asking for the number. So this number is going to make Power BI bring out that arrow for us. So this is the number we're giving it to for the upward arrow. And we also want to create another var for the downward arrow. So, and this is the same unicar function. As you can see, returns the Unicode character that is referenced by a given numeric value. And now the value for this is 8595. And we're just going to cover the brackets. Now we're going to come down and say, and create another variable called arrow icon. And now we're going to say equals to, we're going to say this should switch, right? So this should switch if it's true. So if order, so this should switch to true, right? If the order of month on month and week on week percentage is greater than 0. Now, I'm telling this that if this is greater than 0, this should give me the what? The upwards icon. But I want it in such a way that if it's greater than 0, right? I want a space first. So I'm just going to put this. This is just a space. There's no big deal about this. And we should bring the upward arrow. So I'm just going to come here and copy this upward arrow and bring it down here. So it should bring the upward arrow and also with another space. And I will show you later why this space is important. It's just basically important so that every figure does not look too choked up. Do you understand? So everything does not look choked up. That's why we are trying to keep that space. So everything just looks nice, really. There's no big deal to it. Then we're going to say if the order of months, if this is, so I'm just going to copy this and bring this down here. So if this is less than 0, so if this is less than 0, I want you to bring what? The downward arrow. So that is just basically what it is. So if this is greater than 0, give me the upward arrow showing that, this is progressing upwards. And if it is less than 0, give me the downward arrow showing this is progressing downwards or retrogressing downwards. So we're just going to close the bracket. And now what we're going to return is, we want to return the arrow. This is how we even want to return it. We want to return the arrow icon, which is this, and the month on month, and this. But this we're going to format. And how do we want it? We want it to come in 2 decimal places. So let's use this. And this is what we have. All right, so now that we've created this variable, so what we want it to return, we want to return the arrow icon. So it's going to return, that is, if it's going upwards or it's going downwards, the arrow has to be returned, right? Then we want to also return the value of the order month on month itself, okay, which is basically what this is. As you can see, when I click this, you can see the arrow icon. You can see the arrow icon, the downwards arrow icon, and you can see the value being returned. And you see all those spaces that I kept was a space before here, so that this arrow is not going to be so close to this number, and a space after, so this arrow will not be so close to this number, just giving us that tiny space for readability's sake. So that is basically all that is here, okay? So now I'm just going to hit enter. And now we have our order icon right here. So let us go create our sales icon the same way. So I'm just going to copy this and go to our measures table and paste it in and do the editing that has to be done, which is coming here to put sales month on month, sales month on month. And we're going to get what the sales month on month here. And this is it. So let's just come here and put sales icon, and we're hitting enter. Can you see how easy this is? Okay, so now we have our sales icon. I think for now we're good to go in terms of creating our reference label. Okay, so one last measure we need to create for this particular card view is what we call the dynamic name. So we are getting, like, look at this now. We want to get sales previous month and sales previous week, right? But how will the name change? Now take a look at this previous one. So this is our sales and order by week, right? When I click week, you can see previous week is showing, and this is sales and order by month. When I click month, when I click February now, you can see it is showing previous month and previous month. Okay, so when I click on month, it is showing me previous month. When I click on week, it is showing me what? Previous week. So we need to make this naming dynamic. We just need to make it dynamic. Okay, so that is what we want to write on. And let us just go get a new DAX measure so we can write that. Now we're just going to name this dynamic name, so it changes. And for this dynamic name, we're just going to create a variable called is month filtered, right? So when we filter for months, so let's just say is month filtered. So now we're going to say is filtered. We're going to use the function is filtered. So okay, this is it. And what we're looking for is the month name. So this is for the month. We're creating another variable called is week name, or rather is week filtered. So we're doing the same thing. We're using the function is filtered for the week name. And we're going to close the bracket. So now we're just going to return. We're going to return is week filter. Is week filtered and not is month filtered. So let us do that. So this is our is week filtered. And not, this is not. Or return, we're supposed to use an if function here because, so return if is week filtered. So if is week is filtered and not is month. Bring out, this is basically what we're just telling it to do. So if what we clicked on is week and not month, we want it to bring out PW. Okay, so let's just say, so this is how I want it. I want it to be PW equals to this. So that's why I'm putting that semicolon and I'm putting a space here. So this is how it's going to be. So this is basically saying if the week is filtered, let me just put the, so if the week is filtered but the month is not, let us get PW. So this is what the naming is going to be like, PW. You can also decide to put previous week or whatever it is you want, okay? So now we're going to just go to the next one, which is if month is filtered and not is week, okay? Else I want it to remain is month, because there's every probability that we're going to filter by month more often than we filter by week, okay? So this is the else condition. Else we're going to have it as previous month. If you don't want PM to be in your own, you can decide to write anything. You can just decide to write else nothing, or you can decide to write previous time. So once you click on month, it's going to change to previous month. Once you click on week, it's going to change to previous week. And if there is nothing clicked, it's going to be previous time. So you can decide to put that the way you want. It is definitely very flexible. So we're just going to close this bracket so we can end this query. Dynamic name looks like. So we're just going to hit enter. And now we have our measure. So we basically have all of our measures to get things started, right? The only measure remaining is two measures, which is for the sales peak time and total hours something. So, but now let us just get this started. So now we are back to our total sales. Let us get the party started. We're going to come here. We're coming to our reference label now because we're done with the call out label. And now we are picking our total orders, okay? Because that is what we have here. Do not go to all. That's the one we are working on now. And we want to add labels. So we want to add something to be seen underneath it. What are we going to add? The previous month and week that we created, right? So let's go to the other previous month and just bring this in. Now you can see this. So we have to do a number of formatting here. So we're going to come to label, get the other previous week and month, previous month and week here. So we're going to come to field name, get it custom because we already have our dynamic name, okay? So for our field name, we're going to come here. We don't want it to be showing other PM and PW. No, we want our dynamic name. So we're going to come to the conditional formatting here. And this is definitely field value. And what do we want to format it based on? Our dynamic name. So this is it, and we get OK. Now you can see our dynamic name is showing PM. Let me increase this so we can see. Now we can see PM is showing. So at that point at that point when we're writing the DAX measure, if you wanted yours to be showing as previous time, it is previous time that will be showing right here. So right, this is it. The next thing we want to do is to come to the color. No, not color, we're good with color. Come to the values. Make the value huge as well. Let's keep it at 30. And this is what the value looks like. Let's make this 30 as well. We're going to come to details, turn it on, come here, we're going to add data. So now what we're adding to the details is our order icon, because this is where the icon is going to show if it's going up or coming down. So we're going to add the order icon right here. Now we are going to make this, let's make this 30 so we can see everything. So now we want to format our icon. So it's showing us either green or red. So we're just going to come here and we're formatting it based on some rules. And what field should this be based on? Let it be based on the month-on-month field that we created, which is other month-on-month or week-on-week field. And now we're saying if our value is greater than the minimum number or our value is less than 0, we want it to be what? To be red. And I have just the hex color right here. So mine is this 14112F. So this is the red I want. And I'm going to come here to new rule and say if this is greater than 0 and less than the maximum, then this should be what? Should be green. And I have my hex code, which is 0D. So now I'm just going to hit OK. So this is what we have right now. And then we're going to go to our cards and format this whole place to look better. So now we need to remove the divider and also turn off the background for this place. Can you see this divider and this background, which is ash? We need to turn it off, but you can see it's not activated. So what we can do is to come here, to come to series and keep it at all. So this place gets activated. So once we turn off the divider, the background is definitely going to, leave. So this is what we have. And then we're just going to go back to our total orders and let us make this font 30. Now this looks a lot better. Now let us try out what we have done by coming here and let's just get a column chart and just put the week name and the total sales, for example, and let's hit on 1 week. Now we can see this week, which is previous week as shown, and this is what we sold in the previous week, and this is the new week's sale. As you can see, this is a lot more than this, and we can see it is increasing. And this is basically what we want, guys. This is basically what we want. So yes, we're on the right track. And let us see this. Oh, this went down. This was 963 and this is 960. And you can see this went down. You can see this. So this is exactly what we want, guys. And this is it right here. So I'm just going to remove this and we're going to do this exact thing for the sales. Okay. So for these sales, I won't be talking too much here. So just be following through, please. So now I just want to format the value, which is the call out value. I'll make this 60. I'll make the label 30. Right? I'll align it in the middle. And then the next thing is to go to reference label. So my reference label, I'm in total sales. I want to add my sales previous month and previous week. So next thing I want to do is to come here. I want to customize the field name. Come here, let's go get our dynamic name. That is exactly what we want. So let's put this right here and let's get the value and put the value right here. I'm going to come here and put. So if you're still watching this project, that means you're definitely getting value from it. So please stop right now, hit the subscribe button. Please like this video so YouTube shows it to a lot more people. And yes, I'm waiting for you to do that. After hitting the subscribe button, please tell me that you have subscribed in the comment section. This would encourage me to create more projects like this, so we can all keep learning together in this data community. All right. Thank you for subscribing. Now let's get back to learning. We need to turn on the details. Come here, get the sales icon, put that here, increase this to 30 so we can see the sales icon. I'm also going to come here and reduce the auto to 1. Come to the font, use the same rules that we use, but here we're going to be using the sales month on month and week on week. Don't forget. And then I'm just going to come up here to turn off this to the series so I can turn off the divider. This is what I have. So let us, oh no, I'm just going to undo this. Okay, so let us come here and see what the total sales and week. And let's click on 1 week and you can see this is changing, right? This is basically what we want, how we want it. Okay, so there's something we need to do for our total sales. We need to definitely format it using the currency, which is dollars. Okay, so now when we format it, we're just going to reduce this. We're going to leave it at 1 decimal place. So let us go remove this particular one. We're also going to format the previous month because this is our previous month and previous week. So let's go format the previous month and previous week and use the dollar sign as well, because everything has to be on point. Now you can see our dollar sign is showing. So let us go format this particular place so it doesn't have decimal place. So we're just going to come back here. We're going to go to our reference label and we're going to make our way to the value. So choose total sales. Let's get to the value. We don't want any. So this is it. And guys, the majority part of the work is done. Trust me. Every other thing we are going to breeze in and breeze out. So if you've gotten up to this point, congratulations to you. We have gotten almost everything. So the next thing we want to do now is to get what we call our total menu. We don't want to see how many menu we are dealing with here. Let me copy and paste because we don't want to go through the formatting again. So I'm just going to come here, turn this off, and I am going to get total menu. And this is basically what we want. Then the next thing we want, let me copy and paste this. This is for our sales peak time, right? So this is the time where more sales have been recorded to have been made, when a lot of people made what sales. So for that, let's just write our DAX measure for it. So the first DAX measure we want to write, so this is just, let's just write total sales by hour. So we're just going to use the SumX as well. We're using the SumX and we're just going to get values. That is what we're formatting it with. We want to get the values from our order. Okay, this is showing us some tables. Okay, we want to get the values from our order date, from our order time rather, because we're dealing with time here. So this is our order time. Okay, let's close this bracket and then we're just going to use the calculate function. function, and we are going to get the total sales. So we just basically want to know how many sales, or how many sales happened by this hour. Then we're going to close this and close it again, and then we're going to hit enter. So now we've gotten the base measure for the last one we want to do, which is our sales peak time. So in order to get our sales peak time now, we're just going to paste in our code. So you guys, this is the measures for our sales peak time. We created a variable called peak time. This is calculating the peak time for sales based on the order time column, which is this, where the total sales by hour is at the highest. So this is basically what it is, calculating the peak time where the total sales by hour is at the highest. And then what we're returning is the formatted peak time, which is this variable we created, and we are formatting it to hour, minutes, and we want to know if it's either AM or PM. All right, so this is what this is, and this is basically what our measure is. So let us hit enter and then visualize it. Okay. All right, now we have our sales peak time. We're just going to turn this off and bring this in. And now we can see our peak time is at 1:13 p.m. All right, so now that we have gotten our sales peak time, I have some assignment or like a bit of side project to motivate you to do more, which I'm going to show you later on in this video. Okay, so but let me just tell you one that you would have to do. You would have to get the average sales. Now we have the total sales, you will have to get the average sales. Okay, now this has been arranged. The next thing I want to do is come to insert, come over here to shapes. So we're going to get this shape and we're just going to pull this down here. Let's format this, come to this. Okay, 7 is not bad. So let's come to style. Just going to, let me just put this color, but I'm still going to make it transparent anyway. So the next thing is to turn off the borderline. Okay, let's go to effects. We're going to add the shadow from here. And let us customize our shadow. We're going to come to custom. I always like to put it in 90 degrees. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Yeah, I want this to be properly aligned. Transparency, let's increase that so it's not like too dark. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is to copy and paste this. We're just going to bring this down here. Going to copy and paste this. Make it, bring this down here. We also have to come change this. So let's just go to, let's go to cards. We'll go to background, we'll change this color to this, and we'll make it transparent. It's transparent. Okay, I think this is about it. And now let us start, putting in our visuals. So the first thing we want to get here is what we call our sales by category, right? So for our sales by category, we're going to use this tornado visual. So we're just going to bring this in and let us just, put it in here. Okay, so now we're just going to come here. We're going to get sales, total orders, total sales. The two of them will be here. And then we're going to get category. So for category, we're coming to menu and we're going to choose category. And this is basically what we have. So you can see the order and we can see the sale. We can see this one was ordered the most, but we can see this one was sold the most. So this will probably has to do with pricing, because How was this ordered the most but this sold the most? So it definitely has something to do with pricing strategy. All right, so let us format this. So for that, let's come to format your visual. Let us go to data colors first and change the color, the color of the, okay, let's use this for the orders, and let us use this blue for right. So data labels is on. We're going to use text size. Let us make it 20 and see. Okay, this is not bad at all. Let's see 25. Okay, right, this is cool. Text size 25. This is all good. So the next thing we want to go to is group. And for group, we want our text size to be like 25 as well, so we can see everything well. Now we can see if this is Asian or Italian, Mexican, and American meals. Okay, so next thing we want to do is to go to the title. So for title, let us just write orders and sales by category. Okay, so we're going to make this 30 and we're going to align it in the middle. So we're going to come here to effects and just turn the background off so it eases into what we have, which is this. Now come to your spacing so we can have a bit of space between the title and this visual right here. It's just small, but it's going to make quite a difference. Okay, 29 here as well, and this is the total sales. So Mexican foods are probably like a lot more affordable or a lot cheaper because this is just three people's order. Three people's order difference, and look at the difference in sales. So this has to do with pricing strategy. Okay, so this is just basically for the order and sales by category. So the next thing we want to see here is our order and sales by week. Right, remember we have our week name right here in our date table. So we're just going to do that, and for that we're going to be using this beautiful dumbbell column. Okay, so we're just going to get this. The only problem with this is you cannot just push it like this, the way you come and just, hit on any visual and push it down. You have to like hold on to here and then it comes down. It's not so easy to do, but so, all right, let's expand this. So for this video, what we want to see is the week. As you can see, you have the axis, the values, and those are what we're going to fill in. We want to see the week name, and we want to see it by the sales and the orders. So let's do orders and sales. And this is basically what it is. So you can see your order right here and your sale is up here. So you can see the trend, right? Okay, so for this, let's just format it. We're going to come to format your visual right here. And we're going to, sadly, we don't have any license key, right? But we're going to make do with it. Let us come and put our legend top center. We're also going to come to the text and make our legend more visible. Let's put it at 25. We are going to we're coming to the x-axis. We'll make the value 25. Now we can see our y. We'll turn up the title. We're going to also come to the y-axis. We'll turn up the title and we're going to make the value more visible. So let's use 25 as well. So the next thing to do is to come to the grid lines. If any is on, we're going to turn it off, right? Then we're also turning off the vertical grid lines. We're coming to the data points. Now you can have circle as your data points. You can also have different shapes. Look at, you can use the square, you can use the diamond, the triangle, and all of that. For example, look at how triangle looks. Can you see? You can also use different things. So basically, you can use all of these things. Whichever one you feel would suit your visual, definitely go for it. So the size, our marker size, now we want it bigger. I want mine at say 30. So look at our marker size, 30. So the next thing I want to do, if you want this line to be a bit thicker, you can just make it 3 or 4, 5 or whatnot. And you want to get the color. First of all, the color of the line, I want it a bit darker. So I want it this color, right? Then we're going to have gray here. Let me see. Let's use this gray. We're going to have gray here and we're going to have blue here. So this is basically what we have. All right, guys. So we don't need our data labels on or off because we have this. But let's take a look at what the data label looks like. So let's turn it on and see. Okay. All right. So you have the amount here and here. Not bad, but it's going to make it too choked up. So we're just going to turn this off. Now, the next thing we want to go do is for the general. Let us go to the title and just make this orders and sales by week. So we're just going to remove this name here. Order and sales by week. We're going to put this at 30 and align it in the middle. Align this in the middle. The next thing I want to do now is to come back here to add your visual, right click on this and rename this visual. I don't want to be seeing total sales and total orders for the legend. So I'm just going to rename this visual to only orders and right click on this, rename this visual. I'm going to rename this to just sales for this particular visual. And this is about it. So now from this visualization, you can see that some weeks did better than others in terms of sales and in terms of orders. So now let us take a look at how this would work with this. So let's hit on this. As you can see, previous week we have 914 and this week we're having 1003. This is good. This is huge. Previous week we had 943. Previous week we had 1K and now we have 943. So the third visualization we want to do is we want to see it by month, okay? Because we've seen it by week now, so let us see it by month. So for month, we're just going to use this beauty right here, which is this. We're going to use the lipstick bar chart. So I'm just going to click this and we're going to try to push this in here and adjust it. Right. So now, what do we want to get? We want to get the month name. We want to get the total orders. We want to get the total sales. So let's do some formatting, shall we? Let's come here. Let us go to the layout and see. We don't want these toolbars, and these are basically what the toolbars are. These. All right. So we don't want them. So let's turn that off. So for the chart, let us see. Let's go to the legend and put the position in the top center. Let's make the size 20. So for the x-axis, let's make the text label 25 so you can see it. So we're going to turn off the grid lines. For the y-axis, let's turn off the axis line or not. Let's turn off the title and let's make the label title 20 so we can see the month. Or let's make that 25. Okay. So the next thing we want to look at now is the bars. So for the bars, we're just going to change the color. So now we're just going to make this bar size 0.6. Okay, this is not bad. 0. Then we're coming to the bar 2. And for the bar 2, we're going to change the color to this blue, 0.6 or say 0.5. And this is what we have. Okay, so this just shows you how you can really be flexible with this thing however way you want to. Okay, So the next thing I want to do is to go to the title, go to general, go to title, and make this a lot bigger. Let's make it 25. Come here, make this total orders and sales, just as we have always done, by month. And I'll align this in the middle, and then we're going to make this transparent so it eases in. All right, so this is what our sales by month looks like. Okay, so we can click on February, for example, and we can see, oh, in January we sold 53, which is the previous month, right? We sold 53K. And in February, we are selling 50,000. So obviously this is down by 5.62%. And this is basically what it is for the past month for the total orders. We had 4,000 plus orders, and here we're having 3,851 orders. Okay, and the peak time for February was 2 p.m. So this just basically gives you every single detail you need to know. And this is the sales by order. This is the order and sales by category for February. So the last one we want to see is the top 10 most sold item. So for the top 10, we're going to do most sold item. So for that, we're just going to use this lollipop bar chart here. So I'm going to bring in this bar chart. We're just going to drag it in. Right. So now that we have it in, what we want to get is the total orders, the total sales, and we want to see the item. So we want to know which item was sold and, and ordered the most. So these are all our items. Remember, we have like 32 items in our menu, which is this. So this is like all the item we have. But definitely our stakeholders might not want to see it like this. They might just want to say, okay, let me see the top 10. Let me see the one that is doing the most number. Okay. Now to filter it to top 10, what we need to do now is to come here. You can see filters, right? Come to items name, click this arrow right here, and you can see the filter type. You can decide to just check this California row, and only California row will show. You can decide to check this and the 2 will show. You can decide to check this and the 3 will show, but this is not what we are looking at. All right, what we want to do is we want to get the top 10. So we want to get the filter type. So for the filter type, we're using this drop down here, and we're going to get the top n. Top n basically means top number. Okay, so click that, and you're going to see top what? We want to see the top 10, as we said. So you're going to write 10 here, and by value, what do we want to see the top 10 of? We want to see the top 10 of total sales. And we're going to do what? Apply this filter. Now you can see the top 10 items that were sold. So let's format this quickly. We're going to go to, let me see. Okay, for our legend, let's come here and make it more visible. We're just going to put 20 here. And we're going to go to x-axis, turn off the enable zoom, turn off the auto range. No, we're going to leave auto range. Turn off the title, then come to the label, make it more visible, put it at 20, or let's say 25. Okay, great. Then we're going to turn off the grid lines, come to y-axis, turn off enable zoom, turn off the title, and we're going to make the label what? Bigger. So now we can see the food and all of that. Okay, so come to layout and turn off this toolbar, which is these 2 things. So let's turn it off. Okay, so now let's come down to our value marker. So you can decide to make this circle, or you can decide to use so many other. You can see asterisks, you can see bow tie, you can see cross, you can see diamond horizontal, a lot. This is basically like a lot. Okay, so you can customize this however way you want to. Okay, so now that is it. We're going to increase this size to say 30. It was 30 we did the other time, and now you can see this is a lot bigger, but I want the color to be this. No, I want it darker. So I want the color to be this, and I want the line color to be blue. Okay, no, this is outline. This is not the line. Okay, yeah, we can actually make the outline color to be blue like this. This is not bad at all. This is not bad at all. So for the value for the second one, I want this as blue. I want the shape at I want the size at 30, and I want the outline color as this. Okay. The next thing for the line, for the first line, I want this to be blue. So we'll see this line here becomes blue. And the second line, I want it to be darker a bit. All right, so this is what we have. So now for our legend, where's legend? Okay, for our legend, let's put this at the top center, which is where we want it. Then we're going to go to general for the title. Let's make this 30. And we can see our, so now this thing is going to be the top 10 sales by item. So let's align this in the middle. So guys, you can see that our sales is like scattered. This is the one that is arranged, unlike this one where we have everything going from our sales downwards. And this is just happening because our value 1 was our total orders and our value 2 was our total sales. All right, so if we move this to become our total, if we move our total sales to our value 1 and orders to our value 2, you would see the sales would align, which I think we should do because we are looking at this thing by the sold items. So I'm just going to turn this off. I'm going to bring the order down here, and I'm going to bring the total sales up here. I'll rename this just so the legend is not so long. And as you can see now, we have this right here. So what we need to do is just to make sure these colors come back to the way we wanted them. We wanted the ash here and the green and the blue the other way. So I'm just going to do that. So come to the value 1 marker and make this ash, make this blue, make the outline dark. Come to value 2 marker, make this gray, and we can decide this is too dark. Let's make this gray. This gray is not bad. Okay, and we can decide to make the outline color this. So we're going to use the value 1 line, make the value 1 line this. I want it dark, and make the value 2 line blue. So this is basically how we want it. All right, so next thing we want to do is just to come here and to make this transparent so it eases into it. So this is what we have basically. You guys, we are almost done. The next thing we want to do now is to bring in our logo, and the logo is something I have created, and I also have a video on how you can get your logos to design your logos and icons to design your visualization, which I'm going to put in the description box below. Okay, so let's go to insert, come to image. I'm just going to get the logo. So this is our company's logo. I'll do well to put it just here. All right, so the next thing I want to do is to name it. So for that, I'll come here, get this, make this a little bit smaller. So we'll just come here, get a text box. So we're just going to come here, come to effect and just make it transparent. And this is it. Okay, so now this is it. So the last thing we want to do right here, so this is complete, is just for us to get our filter, and for that we're just going to use this new filter because we have 3 months here, which is January, February, and March. So we just want to get this filter, and we want to filter everything by the month name. So we'll see the month name appear here, and we're just going to just come to format the visual, slicer setting. Let's reduce this by, let's leave it at 5. Let's go to colored values, and let's just make this 30. Great. And when it's at default, we want it to be orange. Also, I want to turn off this light too. All right, so there's nothing here. So when it's at default, we want it as orange, and we want it centered in the middle. Now, when we hover around it, we want it as, okay, this is not bad, hovering. Okay, let us do something else. When we press it, we want it to be blue. We want the color to be blue. So when we press it, okay, did you get that? No. Okay, this is not what we want. I'm going to go back to my orange. When it is selected, we want it to be this. Let us see. Okay, when it's selected, we want it as white, not blue. When it's selected, it should be white. Okay, so now that brings us to the second part, which is the button. So the button deals with all of these, all right? So now the button, when it's at its default state, let us see the fill is in white, okay? So when we hover over it like this, let us see hover. Look at the color it's bringing, which is not bad. I think we can even leave this. When it's being pressed, we want it to be, when it's being pressed, and we still want it at orange, like this. Then when it's being selected, we want it as this. We want the color to be this when it's selected, and then it changes to white. All right, so this is what we want. So when we select this, is going to, when we select this, so wait, let's do when it is pressed. Let it be blue, not orange. Okay, so when we press this, good. So this is what we want. So let's just come to general, make this transparent, and just make it a bit smaller. Let's just push it over here. All right, so this is what we have. So now you can see, okay, March is being selected, and you can see every sale by March. You can see the total order and all of this. You can see the peak time in March. We go to February, we can see every single thing by February. All right, we can even see the 3rd week, or week 7, and everything changes. We can see this, and it changes. So guys, let's do something fun. Let us try to, change or format this whole color to what we actually saw on the thumbnail. So this just shows how flexible you can be with the colors in your visualization or your dashboard. You can play around with the colors, which I expect you people to do. You don't have to stick with the color I chose. You can play around with any color you want. If you're working for another company, or if you feel like, oh, this project I'm working on has to do with a company that has a brand color of green, definitely use something around green. Do you understand? So customize this however way you want to. So let's just go ahead with the color on the thumbnail, which is orange. So what you can do is let's start changing all the colors. You come here, you go to format your visual, we're going to come to cards and go to the accent bar, right? Then what we just have to do is make this color this orange. So this is the orange I'm using. Let me just show you guys the hex code in case you want to copy it. DF7C50. So you can see that the color has changed. The same thing will just come hit here. and do what? Change the color as well. And that is exactly what we're going to be doing for all of them. And you will see the color will change. So it is just really flexible. Okay, so now for this one, we're just going to come here, go to the data colors. We're then going to change this. Since we're making this orange, let's make this a bit darker, right? Then we'll make this orange. You can see we're also going to come here and do the same thing. Come to the data points, come to color, and let's just do it. And voila, this is it. Come here as well, come to value marker. We're going to change this to what? To our orange. And then we have more to do here. We're going to change this, the value line. We can change this value line right here to orange. So this blue line changes right. Then the last one is to come here, and we're going to go to the bar one, make this a bit darker. Okay, I think it's a bit darker now. And then we're going to change the blue line to the orange. So come to bar 2 and change the blue line to orange. And you can see this is exactly what we have. The last thing is just to come here and change it to what? Orange. So come to style, come to fill, and change it to orange. If you want, you can make it ash or make it gray rather. So this is basically what we have. The last thing you can do is just to come to the background. So hit the background, come here, come to Canva background. You know, we use this color, so you can as well decide to use this one, and you can just push it out to be like a lot more transparent or not, however way you want it. Let's make this 35. And you can see this is what we have right now on our screen. That is the same way you can change the color to whatever it is you want. All right, you can make it yellow, you can make it green, you can make it red. Just, you know, do this however way you want to. I don't want you to have a color set on stone. No, don't do like that. Play around with the colors. All right, so that is it, guys. Now, this is what our dashboard looks like. So basically, we've actually gotten to the point where we're at in this old one. This is what the old one looks like. And I can't see any difference, honestly. I can't really see any difference. So we've been able to replicate it correctly. Now, I need to give you people something to do aside from what I've been able to show you. So we're going to test your knowledge. All right, this is a small project to motivate you, a small project that has to be done inside this visualization that we just did, right? And from this from our visualization, you can see we have gotten to our sales peak time. Now I want you to show a trend for sales by hour, and I explained further saying the idea is we want to see the hierarchy of sales or orders by hour. For example, we want to see that, oh, we sold 200 items by 1 p.m. or there was an order, there was 200 items sold or 200 orders by 1 p.m. There were 20 orders by 2 p.m. There were 50 orders by 3 p.m. We already know what the peak hour says, but we want to see every other thing so as to help planning. Do you understand? So this is what I want you to show. You might need to write a DAX measure or not. You can figure that out by yourself. Also leverage internet a lot, leverage ChatGPT, ask it questions, ask it to bring out DAX measure for you. Basic thing is understand the DAX measure, understand what it's saying, what the DAX measure is doing basically. Now also get the average sales and average order and add that in your visualization. In our visualization, I intentionally left off average sales, average order that we have, you know, so that you guys would add that. So you can add that to your visualization, or you can just create a new page and, you know, add, you know, put it in a new page and just do another visualization. So however way you want it, but this is basically what I want you to test yourself with and see how far you can go with this small side project. If you do that, tag me to see what you've been able to come up with. I'm on LinkedIn at Olive Ezetendu. I'd like to see what you came up with if you did that. And also, you know, just something to make yourself feel that, yes, I can actually do this. All right. So this is everything. I hope you have enjoyed this project as much as I've enjoyed teaching you and just learning together with you, because honestly, I am still learning. Remember, the key thing for your visualization is not just for it to be fine. It is for it to give insights, for it to give what? Insights to aid business decision. Now that you have seen all these things, it is just important to come to the next page here and write out some insights you have gotten from this place. Okay, if you take a look at our presentation in the beginning, you can see some of the questions that have been answered by this visualization. Now we know what people like the most. Now we can see that pricing might actually be an issue. And you can see the orders by week and by day. Now you can see this is 1003, which I think is the highest order, and this is the highest sale we have by week. You can actually decide to know what happened this week. Why was the order a lot? It could even be that there was an event that took place around that area, and a lot of people decided to order in and eat and all of that. So you can see what your people like the most. They enjoy this Korean beef bowl the most, right? Because look at the sale is off the chart. It's selling $10,000. So people enjoying this meal the most, you can tell you want to make more variations of this meal so a lot more people can enjoy. The business might just want to do a lot of things around this meal. Do you understand? To get more revenue and sales. And look at the month. Okay, you can see that 53, 54. You can see that March did the most when it comes to sale. Do you understand? So these are all the insights you should definitely write down to your stakeholders or whoever person that is going to view this visualization. If you've enjoyed this project, please do not forget to subscribe and to like, and I'll see you in my next project. And my next project is a very interesting one. You definitely do not want to miss it. I have it all planned out already. I am doing my recordings for it already, and it is very interesting. So you should definitely turn on your post notification and subscribe so you will get along with this one, with the next one I'm going to be doing. Okay.